You might be doing these 5 things every day and not realize they're killing you slowly. There's something deeply unsettling about the phrase silent killers. Because unlike car crashes or sudden injuries, these aren't dramatic. They don't come with sirens. They happen in the quiet of your home, while you're brushing your teeth, sipping your tea, or watching TV. And yet, they're the very things that are pushing seniors closer to death, one day at a time. My name is Dr. James Hartley, and I don't say this to scare you. I say it because in my 40 years of seeing elderly patients, the most heartbreaking cases weren't those. If you're over 60 and doing any of these 5 things every day, I need you to stop, or at least make one small change that could add 5, 10, even 15 years to your life. Let's start with the first one, and it's something you're probably doing right now: sitting. Number 1, sitting too much, even if you exercise later. We've all heard sitting is the new smoking, and that's not just a catchy phrase. It's backed by over 50 medical studies. When you sit for long hours each day, watching TV, reading, or even working on hobbies, your blood flow slows down dramatically. Your legs become stiff, your metabolism drops, and worst of all, inflammation creeps up. And chronic inflammation is now linked to heart disease, stroke, diabetes, dementia, and cancer. But here's the real kicker. Even if you go for a walk in the evening, that doesn't fully undo the damage of sitting for 7 to 8 hours nonstop. In fact, one major study from the American Cancer Society followed 127,000 adults over 21 years and found this: people who sat more than 6 hours per day were 19% more likely to die prematurely, even if they exercised regularly. That means the act of sitting itself, not just the lack of exercise, is part of the problem. So what can you do? Simple. Set a timer every hour. Stand up, stretch, walk for 2 minutes. Try standing while talking on the phone. Keep your water bottle across the room so you have to get up. If you watch TV, use commercial breaks as reminders to move. These micro movements reactivate your circulation and literally remind your body, I'm still alive. Don't shut down. Hashtag skipping protein at breakfast. Let me ask you this. What did you have for breakfast today? Toast? Cereal? Tea and biscuits? That's what most of my senior patients tell me. And I always give the same look, a gentle shake of the head, because I know where that road leads. Skipping protein at breakfast is one of the fastest ways to lose muscle mass, brain sharpness, and bone strength after 60. Why? Because your body is in a fasted state after sweeping all night. If you don't feed it amino acids in the morning, it starts pulling those from your own muscles. That means each morning without protein, your muscles shrink a little. And with smaller muscles, you become weaker, slower, and more likely to fall. A single fall over 65 can mean a hip fracture, a hospital stay, or even death. But that's not all. Low-protein diets also affect your immune system, wound healing, and even dopamine levels, which regulate your mood and focus. So tomorrow morning, try one of these: 2 eggs, a scoop of plain Greek yogurt, a handful of almonds or walnuts, a protein shake with oat milk, and berries. Your body will thank you. And more importantly, it will start repairing instead of declining. The deadly routine hiding in your cup, your breath, and your mind. Let's pick up where we left off. You already know that too much sitting and skipping protein at breakfast can silently set off a chain reaction toward an early death. But what if I told you that the third item on this list, something you might drink every single morning, is quietly robbing your body of hydration, stressing your heart, and choking your brain from within? That drink is your hot cup of coffee. Now wait, don't click away just yet. This isn't an anti-coffee rant. But if you're over 60 and drinking caffeine on an empty stomach, especially first thing in the morning, you need to know what it's really doing to your aging body. Caffeine narrows your blood vessels, raises your blood pressure, and acts as a diuretic, which means it pulls water from your tissues and flushes it out through urine. This leads to dehydration. And for seniors, dehydration is not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. It thickens your blood, making it harder to circulate through already stiff arteries. It reduces the fluid around your brain and spinal cord, increasing your risk of dizziness and falls. And it forces your kidneys and heart to work overtime, even before breakfast hits the plate. Worse still, caffeine blocks the action of adenosine, the compound your brain uses to signal rest. So even if you feel alert, you're masking your brain's real needs: rest, hydration, and oxygen. That's why so many seniors experience headaches, anxiety, and insomnia later in the day, without ever linking it back to their 8 a.m. coffee. Does that mean you need to quit coffee completely? No, but you do need to respect your body's limits. Always drink a full glass of water first. Pair coffee with food, not an empty stomach. And if you notice brain fog, shortness of breath, or frequent urination, cut your dose in half and see how your body responds. Now let's talk about something even more subtle. Something that seems natural, even automatic, but is sabotaging your energy and brain function every single hour of the day. I'm talking about mouth breathing. Yes, how you breathe might be the reason you're aging faster than you should. You see, our bodies are designed to breathe through the nose. Your nasal passages filter, warm, and humidify air before it reaches the lungs. This improves oxygen absorption and protects your brain from pollutants. But when you start breathing through your mouth, especially while sleeping or sitting, you take in cold, unfiltered air that dries out your throat and lungs. This reduces oxygen levels in the blood, which leads to lower brain function, daytime fatigue, and even increased inflammation. One study found that habitual mouth breathers have less nitric oxide in their bloodstream, a molecule that's crucial for keeping blood vessels flexible and the brain alert. I've had patients who struggled with fatigue for years, only to discover they were breathing through their mouths at night, even snoring lightly without realizing it. And when they trained themselves to breathe through the nose, sometimes using sleep tape or nasal strips, their energy, memory, and clarity dramatically improved within weeks. So the next time you catch yourself breathing with your mouth open, especially while watching TV or walking, try closing your lips and inhaling gently through your nose. It seems small, but the oxygen boost can wake up your entire system. But now, we come to the one that's hardest to admit. Not a physical habit, but a mental one. One that affects millions of seniors after retirement, especially if they live alone or feel forgotten. And that's living without purpose. Let me say this clearly. Just because you're retired doesn't mean your body or your brain has retired. In fact, the moment you stop engaging with life, with curiosity, learning, contribution, or connection, your health begins to fade. Not slowly, quickly. Studies from Japan, Sweden, and even the Harvard Longevity Project have shown that a strong sense of purpose, even something as simple as walking the neighbor's dog, caring for plants, or helping a grandchild with homework, can reduce mortality by up to 30%. Why? Because purpose keeps your mind active, your hormones balanced, and your immune system stronger. When you have a reason to get out of bed, your cells listen, your heart listens, your brain listens. But the opposite is also true. Seniors who isolate themselves, stop setting goals, or feel like they have nothing left to offer, are at a much higher risk of cognitive decline, stroke, and even suicide. And it's not your fault. Society does a poor job of valuing wisdom after 60. But here's the truth. Your story still matters. you still have value. And the day you decide to believe that, your health starts to return. The sweet habit that's secretly shortening your life. Let's finish what we started. So far, we've exposed 4 daily habits that silently invite disease and early death. Excessive sitting, skipping protein at breakfast, drinking caffeine the wrong way, and even breathing through your mouth. But the 5th and final habit is perhaps the most deceptive of them all, because it hides behind comfort, pleasure, and even childhood nostalgia. I'm talking about sugar. Now, you've heard before that sugar isn't good for you, but what you may not realize is just how deeply it's tied to aging, inflammation, and death, especially after the age of 60. The issue isn't just cakes or cookies, it's in your morning cereal, your healthy granola bar, that afternoon fruit juice, or that tiny square of chocolate you reach for after dinner. It's everywhere, and your aging body doesn't process it like it used to. Here's what's really happening. After 60, your pancreas becomes less efficient at releasing insulin, the hormone responsible for moving sugar out of your blood and into your cells. This means that even moderate sugar intake leads to longer spikes in blood sugar, followed by inflammatory crashes that damage arteries, dull the brain, and exhaust your immune system. Over time, this sugar roller coaster is not just linked to diabetes, but also to heart disease, Alzheimer's, and even cancer. One large-scale study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that people who got more than 20% of their daily calories from added sugar had a 38% higher risk of dying from cardiovascular disease, even if they weren't overweight. That's nearly 1 out of 3 deaths being driven by something that tastes sweet but acts like poison. And the worst part? Most people over 60 are addicted to sugar without knowing it. They crave something sweet after every meal. They reach for sugary drinks during that afternoon slump. They treat themselves in the evenings because they feel they deserve it. And of course you do. You've lived a long life. You've earned your comfort. But here's the truth no one tells you. Sugar comfort now can lead to hospital beds later. The good news is, your taste buds are adaptable. Within just 7 to 14 days of cutting back on sugar, you'll start to notice real fruit tasting sweeter. Cravings fade. Your energy lasts longer. Your sleep improves. And your brain fog, it begins to lift. One of my 71-year-old patients switched her nightly cookies and soda habit for cinnamon tea and a few almonds. 2 months later, her A1C dropped. Her blood pressure normalized. And for the first time in years, she said she felt clear. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about perfection. It's about power. It's about realizing that these 5 habits we've just explored aren't just small mistakes. They are signals. Each one chips away at your health, your time, your independence. But when you become aware of them, when you take even small steps to reverse them, something incredible happens. Your body responds. Your brain comes alive. And your risk of early death, it starts to shrink, one day at a time. Let's quickly review the 5 daily habits to stop if you want to extend your life. Sitting for long periods without movement. Even 2 minutes of walking per hour can reactivate circulation and protect your heart. Skipping protein in the morning. A high-protein breakfast fuels your muscles, brain, and balance. Drinking caffeine first thing on an empty stomach. It dehydrates and shocks your system. Water first, always. Mouth breathing. Switch to nasal breathing for better oxygenation, memory, and energy. Consuming sugar daily. Cut back. Replace it with nuts, herbal tea, or dark fruit. Your taste buds and your arteries will thank you. In the final part of this video, I'll show you how to rewire your habits, one day at a time, using a simple 3-step process that works even if you've had these patterns for decades. I'll also give you a daily checklist to keep by your fridge, a small visual that may save your life. Rewire these habits before it's too late. Your body is still listening. If you've made it this far, I want to speak directly to you, not as a doctor, not as a narrator, but as someone who genuinely cares about your future. You've just learned the 5 daily habits that quietly sabotage health in people over 60. These are not vague lifestyle tips. These are evidence-based death accelerators. And every day you repeat them, your body pays the price. But here's the hopeful truth. You can start reversing the damage right now. Your age does not define your outcome. You're not too old, too set in your ways, or too late to change. In fact, the human body is so remarkably adaptive that even in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, it responds to new signals in just days. The key is not to panic or overhaul your entire life overnight. The key is to reprogram these habits one tiny step at a time, with intention. So let me give you the 3-step blueprint I've used with hundreds of my elderly patients to help them swap destructive daily patterns for life-extending ones, without stress, guilt, or overwhelm. Step 1 is called Spot It, Don't Judge It. Most people don't even realize they're repeating harmful habits until it's too late. So your first mission is to observe. For one full day, carry a small notepad or keep a notes app open and jot down every time you sit for more than an hour. Eat a meal without protein. Breathe through your mouth. Reach for sugar or skip water in favor of coffee. No guilt, no correction yet, just awareness. You can't change what you don't see, but once you see it, everything starts to shift. Step 2 is replace, don't remove. Your brain hates sudden loss. That's why simply saying, "I'll stop sugar" or "I won't sit anymore" usually fails. Instead, you need to replace the old pattern with something your body accepts. For example, instead of just cutting coffee, add a glass of warm lemon water before it. Instead of giving up sweets entirely, swap your cookie for frozen berries and cinnamon tea. Don't just stop sitting. Stand during phone calls or stretch while watching TV. You're not just deleting habits, you're rewiring pleasure. Step 3 is repeat with emotion. Habits don't stick through willpower. They stick through meaning. When you perform your new habit, like walking during a commercial break or drinking a protein shake for breakfast, I want you to say out loud, "I'm doing this for my future." Sounds silly? It's not. Neuroscience shows that linking action with emotion triples your brain's retention rate. The more personal it feels, the faster it becomes automatic. And to make it easy for you, I've created a simple printable checklist you can keep on your fridge, mirror, or kitchen wall. It's called the Daily Life Extender. 5 boxes, 1 for each habit. Each day you avoid sitting too long, eat protein at breakfast, hydrate before caffeine, breathe through your nose, and reduce sugar, you check that box. After just 7 days, most people report better energy. After 14, clearer thinking. After 30, they're shocked how far they've come. Now, before we close, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You were never meant to decay quietly. You were never meant to retire into weakness. And you were never meant to accept these daily habits as just part of getting older. Your body is not giving up on you. It's simply waiting for new instructions. And today, you have them. Commit to one habit shift today. Just one. Maybe it's drinking water before your morning coffee. Maybe it's adding eggs or nuts to your breakfast. Maybe it's walking around the house every hour. One shift done daily can trigger a ripple that saves your life. If you found this video helpful, please click like. That tells the algorithm to share this with more seniors who need it. Online content. Subscribe for weekly science-backed health tips to help you live longer, move better, and feel sharper after 60. Comment below. Which of these 5 habits are you going to tackle first? I read every comment, and I'll personally reply with a tip. You are not powerless. You are not invisible. And you have more control over your future than you've been led to believe. Let's take your health back, one smart decision at a time. Because your story isn't done yet. It's just getting stronger.